What is up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. You might be going bald and you're worried about this. What are people going to think of you? On this episode, I'll be giving you guys my tips. Someone who has been happily bald for the last 5 years. We almost see it as I am losing my hair, so I'm losing what makes me attractive. Not understanding that the advantage for us as men is that we are judged on far more than just our looks. There's some mindset shifts and there's some actual things that you can do today that I personally do in my own life. So we'll start off by number 1. I find that a bald head always looks better with some form of facial hair. Make sure that it is well maintained. What I like to do is I like to keep it shorter on the sides, slightly longer on the fronts, maybe a half a measure longer on the front. This just gives a nice angularity to the face. It's very important to maintain your stubble correctly. It's important to groom it once, at least every week. What I like to do is I like to make sure that it is not unruly above a specific line. This just maintains a much more angular look, a much more sharp look. Number 2 is get into the gym. What gives you a bad look when it comes to being bald is typically the baldness accentuates the roundness of your face. The roundness of your face ends up being a much more feminine look for many men, and this is deemed as unattractive. What added value you're going to get when you get in shape, you end up losing weight, especially on your face. It can give a much more angular shape to your face as you lose water weight. So maintain a low body fat percentage and also bulk up. There's a nice synergy that goes with being fit and being bald. Next up, if you're going to go bald, ditch any form of trying to hide the baldness. Make a decision to go bald and stick with it. So many men, they kind of hang on to every last shred of hair over, oh, is my hair falling out? Oh, am I losing hair? All of these things end up adding more stress, which ends up, funny enough, causing more hair loss. And you don't get to the main point. The main point is to make do with what you have and not just try to hang on with dear life for what you don't have. I shave my head every single day because I love the way that it looks. The first thing to grow out is going to be the sides, and it just ends up getting darker and it looks very, very messy. Especially after 3 or 4 days, it can look horrible versus when I shave completely. So you can do this on your own. You can do it maybe twice or 3 times a week. So every 2 to 3 days, that should be adequate. If you want to maintain it once every 3 days, that's the minimum that I recommend. Next up, one great addition, one accessory that you can use is eyeglasses. I find that a great pair of shades that matches the frame of your face not only calls attention towards or away from just the baldness of the head, make sure that you're using the right types of shades for your face. So one thing that I recommend is if you don't need to wear sunglasses or you're not a fan of sunglasses, then potentially consider wearing blue light blocking eyeglasses that, again, frame your face. They're clear so you can wear them in the day, you can wear them at night, and they just become a part of your personality. Next up, and this is a fashion tip, is I find that wearing V-shaped closures creates a very, very nice framing effect that really looks well. The one advantage that you have with a bald head versus a head full of hair is that you have this consistency, and by adding that framed effect, you give yourself a very rugged and structured look that has a nice polarity to it, and it just looks attractive. I find that a light tan can sometimes work better with a bald head. And there's one big reason for this is, I think it's because of the hair that is growing on the sides. A tanned pigment just calls less attention and makes it less apparent what the shape or sort of the shades of the hairs that are coming out on the sides are. Makes you look younger, ends up doing wonders, adding more sort of depth to your skin tone and just relating better to the baldness of your head. Last but not least, and this is an overarching theme, this is the value that you bring to yourself comes down to your actions, comes down to your characters. All of these things give you the confidence to move through the world. And if the core goal here is how to feel more confident when bald, you can throw out all the fancy clothes. If the underlying thing is that you are not confident with yourself, then you'll never be confident. It won't matter. You won't like what you look when you look at in the mirror. And this is the challenge here. When you can see that person for what they are, you can see that person as someone who truly wants the best for you. It sounds dramatic, but in reality, that person is you. And if you can be that person for yourself, then it doesn't matter. It comes down to your character, and your character dictates your actions, and that's how you feel more confident when bald.